Have you ever found yourself at a family gathering, perhaps a 75th birthday party, looking around the room and noticing a profound divergence? On one side, you might see an uncle, sharp as a tack, recounting stories with a twinkle in his eye, already planning his next fishing trip. On the other, perhaps an aunt, who just a few years ago was the life of the party, now seems frail, her world having shrunk to the confines of her favorite armchair. It is a question that haunts families across America, a quiet, often unspoken fear that settles in as our loved ones cross that three-quarter-century mark. Why do some individuals continue to thrive, embracing their 80s and 90s with vitality, while so many others seem to face a precipitous decline, their flame dwindling far too soon after reaching 75? The answers are not found in some cruel twist of fate or a simple roll of the genetic dice. Instead, they are woven into the very fabric of daily life, the subtle habits, the quiet choices, and the silent assumptions we make about aging. These are not dramatic, sudden events, but slow, insidious processes that can either build a fortress of resilience or gradually erode the foundations of health. In our journey today, we will pull back the curtain on 5 of the most powerful reasons so many seniors struggle to live long, vibrant lives beyond 75. Each reason is a story, a warning, and a lesson. From the hidden dangers lurking in our modern routines to the profound psychological currents that shape our longevity, we will explore the forces that determine whether our later years are a golden era or a period of slow retreat. Stay with me until the very end, because this exploration is not about instilling fear. It is about empowerment. By understanding what shortens life, we gain the profound ability to protect our own future and the futures of those we love. The first and perhaps most visible culprit in this story of shortened years is the quiet, creeping tide of physical inactivity. It is one of the clearest and most unforgiving reasons many seniors do not flourish long after 75. As the years accumulate, a seductive whisper suggests that we have earned a permanent rest. The garden seems a little too large, the stairs a little too steep, and the comfort of a chair a little too tempting. And while rest is undeniably a crucial part of a balanced life, an excess of it becomes a quiet poison. Without the regular demand of movement, the body begins a systematic and logical process of shutting down. It's a primal use it or lose it principle that governs our very biology. This decline is a cycle that feeds on itself. When we stop moving, our muscles, deprived of their purpose, begin to atrophy in a process known as sarcopenia. This isn't just about losing the ability to lift heavy things. It's about losing the core strength needed to stand up from a chair without assistance, to carry a bag of groceries, or to catch oneself during a momentary loss of balance. Bones, no longer subjected to the healthy stress of weight-bearing activity, lose their density and become brittle, transforming a simple stumble from a minor inconvenience into a potentially life-altering fracture. Balance, that intricate dance between our inner ear, our vision, and our body's sense of position, begins to falter. This creates a vicious feedback loop. Reduced movement leads to weakness and poor balance, which in turn breeds a fear of falling. That fear then leads to even less movement, and the spiral accelerates downward, robbing an individual of their independence and ultimately their very life force. Physical activity is so much more than what we typically label as exercise. It is the fundamental engine of vitality. It is the key that keeps the heart, our most tireless muscle, strong and efficient. It lubricates the joints, pushing back against the stiffness of arthritis. It maintains the body's ability to respond to the myriad demands of daily living. When a senior transitions to a largely sedentary life, the body interprets this prolonged stillness as a signal that its robust systems are no longer required. The cardiovascular system becomes less efficient, the metabolism slows, and cellular repair processes are downgraded. Consider the story of Walter, a retired carpenter from Ohio, who at 78 had settled into a life dictated by the television schedule. His days were spent in the deep, comfortable embrace of his recliner. He told himself he was enjoying a well-deserved retirement. But over time, he noticed the trek to the second-floor bedroom felt like climbing a mountain. His energy levels plummeted, and his doctor's warnings about his rising blood pressure became more urgent. The world outside his window seemed to be moving on without him. It was his daughter who finally convinced him to start with something small, a single walk around the block each morning. The first few days were a struggle. His joints ached, his breath was short. But he persisted. Soon, that single block turned into 2, and then into a leisurely stroll through the local park. The change was nothing short of remarkable. His energy returned, a forgotten strength seeped back into his legs, and he began to look forward to the brief chats with neighbors he met along the way. That simple, deliberate choice to move did not just improve his health markers, it infused his days with purpose and vitality, extending not just the quantity of his years, but their quality. This is the secret that so many miss. It's not about running marathons. It is about intentionally weaving movement back into the tapestry of daily life. Gardening, stretching while watching the news, taking the long way to the mailbox, or even light household chores can keep the body alert and the blood flowing. For every moment we choose motion, we are sending a powerful message to every cell in our body. I am still here. I am still capable. I am still invested in my future. The danger of declining activity lies in its stealth. One skipped walk becomes a habit. One more afternoon in the chair becomes the new normal. But just as quietly as it creeps in, the choice to move can begin to reverse the trend. This is the first foundational truth we must grasp. If you've seen this pattern in a loved one or even in yourself, and this explanation resonates with you, please share your experience in the comments below. How did you or they find the motivation to start moving again? Flowing directly from the body's need for movement is its equally profound need for proper fuel. This brings us to the second powerful reason so many seniors face a shortened lifespan after 75: the subtle and often unnoticed decline in nutritional quality. As the body ages, its internal chemistry and needs undergo a significant transformation, yet our eating habits, forged over a lifetime, often remain stubbornly fixed. Many older adults gravitate towards what is quick, what is familiar, or what is convenient, not realizing that every single meal is a choice that either builds resilience or accelerates decay. In these later years, the body requires high-quality, nutrient-dense fuel to maintain muscle mass, support bone health, and keep the cognitive engines firing. Too often, however, the modern American diet provides the opposite. Meals become heavy in processed foods, refined sugars, and unhealthy fats. These foods are not just empty calories, they are active agents of inflammation and disease. They contribute not only to weight gain, but also significantly increase the risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and even cognitive decline, including Alzheimer's. While the body is being flooded with these harmful substances, it is simultaneously being starved of the essentials. Many seniors fall critically short on the building blocks of health: calcium and vitamin D for bone integrity, high-quality protein to combat muscle loss, fiber for digestive health, and a spectrum of vitamins and minerals that protect a weakening immune system. This critical imbalance quietly erodes the body's resilience, leaving it vulnerable and opening the door to a host of chronic illnesses. Let's imagine Eleanor, an 81-year-old widow living in a quiet Florida suburb. For years after her husband passed, she relied on canned soups, frozen dinners, and sugary snacks because they were easy and didn't require the effort of cooking for one. But she began to notice a disconcerting fogginess in her memory. Her joints ached with a persistent, dull pain, and a profound sense of fatigue had become her constant companion. It was her visiting daughter who, alarmed by the contents of her pantry, gently encouraged a change. They started simply, cooking together, preparing meals with fresh vegetables and vibrant colors, lean proteins like baked fish, and hearty whole grains. Within a few weeks of this new regimen, Eleanor felt as though a veil had been lifted. Her mind felt sharper, the ache in her joints subsided, and her energy returned. The transformation was so striking that she often remarked she wished she had understood the power of food years earlier. Nutrition is more than a science. It is a profound act of daily self-care. Every balanced plate of food is a deposit in the bank of longevity, a tangible step toward preserving independence and adding more good years to life. Yet for so many seniors, this crucial pillar of health crumbles. Some skip meals altogether, their appetites diminished by loneliness or medication side effects. Others eat very little or fill up on foods that actively rob the body of its vitality. Even something as seemingly simple as dehydration becomes a silent but incredibly dangerous threat. An older body has a diminished sense of thirst, making it easy to forget to drink enough water. This can quickly lead to confusion, dizziness, kidney problems, and a dramatically increased risk of falls. The challenge is that poor nutrition rarely sends up an immediate red flag. It works its damage slowly, almost invisibly, until one day the body is simply too weak to recover from a minor illness or injury. But the solution is always within reach. The choice to prioritize whole foods, to stay consistently hydrated, and to eat with intention can provide the very fuel seniors need to thrive. The difference between a path of decline and one of resilience is so often found right there on the dinner plate. This is such a fundamental secret to a longer, healthier life. If you're finding these insights valuable and you're still with me, please let me know you're here by commenting with the number 2 below. Your engagement is incredibly encouraging. Just as the body requires movement and fuel, the brain requires challenge and engagement. This leads us to our third reason many seniors struggle after 75, the quiet fading of mental stimulation. The brain is not a static organ. It is a dynamic, living network that, like a muscle, thrives on use and atrophies from neglect. Too often, however, the later years bring a routine that is comfortable but intellectually stagnant. The challenges of a career are gone, the children are grown, and days can easily become a repetitive loop of familiar, non-demanding activities. Curiosity can begin to fade, and opportunities to learn, problem solve, or engage in meaningful tasks are replaced by long stretches of passive consumption, like watching television for hours on end. When the brain is not regularly exercised, it begins to slow down. The intricate neural pathways that support memory can weaken, making recall more difficult. The ability to focus drifts, and the complex cognitive functions required for problem solving become more challenging. This cognitive decline doesn't just impact the mind in isolation, it has a ripple effect throughout the entire body. It can reduce the motivation to stay physically active, contribute to a lower mood and feelings of apathy, and has even been shown to weaken the body's immune defenses. Many people tragically assume that significant forgetfulness or confusion is just a normal, unavoidable part of getting older. But a mountain of research shows that an understimulated brain accelerates this decline far more dramatically than most of us realize. Consider the story of Samuel, an 80-year-old retired accountant from New Jersey. After leaving his lifelong career, he felt a sense of relief, but also a void. He gave up his hobbies, believing he was too old to continue them, and his days settled into a predictable rhythm of napping and watching old movies. Over time, his family noticed he was becoming more forgetful and socially withdrawn, feeling less capable with each passing month. He was on a path toward a slow mental fade. His granddaughter, visiting from college, refused to accept this. She introduced him to the daily crossword puzzle, a challenge he hadn't attempted in years. She then encouraged him to join a local chess club that met at the community center. Slowly, tentatively, Samuel re-engaged. The act of searching for words and planning chess moves began to reignite old neural circuits. He slowly regained his confidence. His memory showed marked improvement, his mood brightened, and he discovered a new circle of friends through their shared interests. What revived Samuel was not a new medication. It was the spark of curiosity and the thrill of learning. Mental stimulation can take an infinite variety of forms. It can be as traditional as reading a challenging book or solving a Sudoku puzzle. It can be as modern as learning a new language on an app like Duolingo or taking a free online course about a subject you've always been curious about. It can be as creative as picking up a musical instrument again or trying a new, complex recipe. Even engaging in deep, meaningful conversations that force you to articulate your thoughts and consider new perspectives is a powerful form of mental exercise. Social interaction itself is a workout for the brain, keeping it alert, adaptive, and emotionally balanced. When this stimulation is missing, however, the risks are profound. Cognitive decline not only diminishes quality of life, but also increases vulnerability to dementia, depression, and a loss of independence. Conversely, seniors who make a conscious effort to challenge their minds often remain sharper, more resilient, and more optimistic, even well into their 80s and 90s. The key truth is this: every new idea learned, every small challenge accepted, every moment of curiosity indulged is a direct investment in a longer, clearer, and more meaningful life. What's one activity that you believe is crucial for keeping the mind sharp? Share your ideas in the comments section. Let's create a valuable resource for everyone in this community. And if you're getting value from this discussion, a simple like on the video helps us reach more people. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you won't miss our future deep dives into health and well-being. As we explore the pillars of a long life, we now arrive at one of the most powerful but often hidden forces, the strength of our human connections. The fourth reason so many seniors struggle after the age of 75 is the gradual, painful erosion of their social bonds. Loneliness doesn't typically arrive like a sudden storm. It creeps in like a slow, chilling fog. It begins as friends and loved ones pass away, as children move across the country for jobs, and as familiar social circles naturally shrink. What starts as a few quiet evenings alone can gradually stretch into days and then weeks without a single meaningful face-to-face conversation. This isolation is not just a matter of feeling sad. It is a genuine and severe health crisis. A growing body of scientific research has delivered a startling verdict. Chronic loneliness and social isolation can be as damaging to one's health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day or being clinically obese. The human body and mind are fundamentally wired for connection. For millennia, our survival depended on being part of a tribe. When that sense of belonging is broken, our bodies react with a primal stress response. Levels of the stress hormone cortisol rise, which can lead to inflammation throughout the body. Blood pressure often increases, putting a strain on the entire cardiovascular system. And our immune systems, our first line of defense against illness, are significantly weakened. Seniors who lack close companionship and a sense of community are far more likely to experience depression, accelerated cognitive decline, and even an earlier death from all causes. Think of Helen, an 81-year-old living in a quiet suburban home in Texas. After her beloved husband of 50 years passed away, she found the silence in her house deafening. She told herself, and anyone who asked, that she was doing just fine, a testament to her generation's stoicism. But behind closed doors, her sleep grew fitful, her appetite shrank, and her once vibrant energy drained away. She was fading. A kind neighbor, noticing Helen's newspapers piling up, finally convinced her to come along to a weekly gathering at the local senior center. Helen was hesitant, but she went. Within a few weeks of playing cards, sharing stories over coffee, and simply being in the company of others, her family witnessed a stunning transformation. She began to laugh again. She started cooking proper meals for herself. She regained a strength that had seemed lost forever. What had changed was not her diet or a new medicine. It was the simple, powerful antidote of belonging. Friendship, community, and active family support act like a potent medicine for the soul. The simple act of sharing stories at a church gathering, chatting with a neighbor while walking the dog, or playing a game of bridge with friends can breathe life back into a weary heart. In our modern age, technology can also serve as a vital lifeline, with video calls to grandchildren or participation in online groups centered around a hobby, helping seniors feel less alone and more connected to the world. When these connections are absent, however, the mind becomes acutely vulnerable. Memory loss can accelerate, motivation to care for oneself weakens, and small health problems can feel immense and overwhelming without the encouragement and support of others. Seniors who maintain strong social networks don't just live longer, they live with a far greater sense of joy, purpose, and dignity. Human connection is not a luxury in old age, it is a biological necessity. A warm smile, a listening ear, or a shared laugh possesses the power to extend life just as surely as any prescription pill. For seniors, the single greatest investment in a longer, richer life may very well be the intentional effort to build and maintain their relationships. This point about human connection is so deeply important. If you're still watching and you agree, please comment with the number 4 below. It lets me know that these core messages are resonating with you. Finally, we arrive at the 5th and perhaps most clinically direct reason that shortens life after 75: the presence of unmanaged chronic illness. By the time many Americans reach their mid-70s, it is common for conditions like heart disease, type 2 diabetes, arthritis, or chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, to have been developing quietly for years or even decades. The critical factor that often shortens life is not always the existence of the illness itself, but the lack of consistent, proactive management. It's the missed doctor's checkups, the forgotten or intentionally skipped medications, or the tendency to ignore early warning signs that can quickly escalate a manageable problem into a life-threatening crisis. Picture a man named George, age 78, a classic stoic from a small town in Pennsylvania. He had been told for years that his blood pressure was high, but he often shrugged it off, believing the occasional dizzy spell was just a normal part of getting older. He disliked going to the doctor and was inconsistent with his medication, sometimes forgetting for days at a time. One morning he felt particularly dizzy upon waking, and by that evening he had suffered a mild but debilitating stroke. With better care, regular monitoring of his blood pressure at home, and more diligent attention to his diet and medication, his condition might have been kept under control for many more years. Sadly, countless seniors find themselves in similar situations, not because of a cruel fate, but because of delayed action and a failure to actively manage their health. Chronic illness places an enormous and persistent strain on the body's resources. Uncontrolled diabetes relentlessly damages nerves, kidneys, and eyes, leading to a cascade of complications. Untreated high blood pressure weakens the heart and arteries, dramatically increasing the risk of heart attack and stroke. The ongoing, debilitating pain from severe arthritis can discourage any form of movement, which in turn accelerates muscle weakness and increases the risk of falls, creating a downward spiral of immobility and dependence. This decline is often gradual, a slow erosion of function, but it is relentless when care is inconsistent. Yet, within this challenge lies a profound message of hope. Seniors who shift their mindset from being a passive patient to an active partner in their own health care can live many more active, fulfilling years. Those who work closely with their doctors, who maintain a steady and disciplined medication routine, and who make small but consistent daily lifestyle adjustments can successfully tame these chronic conditions. Simple, empowering habits like checking blood sugar levels at home, taking a short walk after meals to help regulate glucose, or tracking blood pressure with a home cuff can create a sense of control and awareness that prevents larger problems from developing. Education also plays a vital role. Understanding how a condition works and how medications help empowers seniors to take charge of their health rather than feeling like powerless victims of it. Communities that provide accessible health clinics, senior wellness programs, and outreach for homebound elders can make a life or death difference. Even something as simple as a volunteer calling weekly to remind a senior of their appointments or medications can be a lifeline that extends both the length and quality of their life. Unmanaged illness does not have to be the deciding factor. With awareness, discipline, and support, chronic conditions can be managed, allowing seniors not just to survive past 75, but to thrive with dignity and strength. As we draw our journey to a close, the threads we have followed weave together into a single, powerful tapestry. We have seen that the reasons why so many lives seem to end too soon after the age of 75 are not mysteries locked away in our DNA. They are the cumulative result of our choices and our environment. The gradual decline in physical activity, the slow poisoning of poor nutrition, the fading of mental stimulation, the chilling isolation of weakened social bonds, and the surrender to unmanaged illness. These forces work in concert like hidden weights pulling down the precious years of life. But shining a light on these truths is not meant to frighten or discourage, it is meant to empower. When we can clearly see the obstacles on the path ahead, we gain the ability to navigate around them, to choose a different route, and to keep walking forward with purpose. Every single person, regardless of their age, deserves to know that longevity is not merely a product of luck or good genes. It is, to a remarkable degree, a product of the small, daily choices that add up to create a life of resilience. A single nourishing meal, one short walk around the block, a heartfelt conversation with a friend, or taking the time to learn something new. These are not insignificant acts. They are the very keystones that can change the entire direction of one's later years. Life after 75 does not have to be a slow, inevitable decline into frailty. It can be, and for many it is, a season of profound growth, wisdom, and fulfillment. It can be a time for new hobbies, deeper relationships, and a rich inner life, if only we dare to tend to the needs of the body, the mind, and the soul with equal and intentional care. The ultimate message here is not one of fear, but of profound and unwavering hope. Even if you or a loved one has struggled with some of these challenges in the past, every new day presents a fresh opportunity to choose differently, to strengthen what has been weakened, and to live in a way that truly honors the incredible gift of our precious years. Thank you for joining me on this important exploration today. I would genuinely love to hear from you. Please leave a comment below and share the one insight from our discussion that resonated with you the most and how you might plan to use it in your own life or the life of someone you care about. Your thoughts and stories are the lifeblood of this community, so please don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments provides tremendous motivation and encouragement. If you found this video helpful and thought-provoking, please show your support by giving it a like, subscribing to the channel, and sharing it with others who might benefit. Your support helps us continue creating meaningful content designed to inform and inspire. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.